you're positive the other guy knows anything more about the market than you do?
The blind leading the blind.
Yes, it's exactly it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our industry chat night tonight. With me tonight is my good friend, Dr. Drax. Good evening, Drax.
Good evening, John. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing very, very well. Glad you could join me tonight because we're going to be looking at a question or a post that we see many times on Facebook pages and different groups and such. And I think this is probably at the core of a lot of DJs' frustration with our industry right now. Am I going too far by saying that?
No, I think it's a very common thing. It's almost as common as what do you play after Uptown Funk? And the answer is equally as simple. It's so frustrating. See all these posts about what do I follow Uptown Funk with? What? Are you kidding me? It's 4 beats. Play something. It'll almost always work.
And the question that we see quite often is people who are posting out of frustration that, no one in my market can charge more than X. Whether it's 400, I see 600, I see 300. I saw one today actually that was 250. The gentleman was sure that no one in his market, and it sounded like it was a fairly narrow circle, but it was a very small area. And he's talking that no one's really getting over $250 for an event, and that's something that Drax, you and I have talked about about this at different levels. And you have kind of a cool way of kind of explaining for those who, we've all heard the idea of charging more and to be, having a fee, up here compared to, down here. But to get from here to here has been a struggle, and a lot of people have not been overly successful. And you had a really cool way of explaining that. So let's dig into that tonight. That's why I wanted to have you come in and
All right.
share that with the world.
Well, my basic premise is you have to start off with success. You can't double or triple or raise your rates to some 4-figure number or larger if you're only booking 5 or 6 events a year. You can't be considered a $5,000 DJ if you're doing 2 or 3 events. I mean, yeah, that's a great rate, but ultimately, if you're a DJ and you're wanting to raise your rates, the first thing you got to do is get a full calendar. Book yourself at a full calendar. When you've got 40 events under your belt, on your schedule, then what you want to look at is for that next year is look at giving yourself a raise. And you can decide what that is based on your own market. There's a lot of market demographics that we'll go into in future sessions, but ultimately you need to start off with being successful. Right. Nothing breeds success more than being successful. And in essence, it's kind of like if you want to work more, you have to work more. Forget somebody telling you what you need to charge, what you don't need to charge. Forget thinking that someone lower than you is a bottom feeder. Forget that someone above you thinks you're a bottom feeder. Rather, approach it from what rate can I book 40 events a year? That's what you're worth in the marketplace right now. You want to book about 60% of the cold leads you get while maintaining a full calendar. Mm-hmm. That sets an equilibrium point for your price. Once you've done that, you now have a place, you've established yourself, you're working frequently, you're getting seen by people, you're developing relationships with venues and other event professionals. Now you can really say, how do I elevate my game? How do I become better? What do I do differently to allow me to go to the next level? If all you're attracting is clients that don't perceive a difference in what you do, perhaps you're not marketing. You're not looking in the right place for clients. Because honestly, my view is if you can't differentiate yourself from a DJ that's significantly lower than you, the fault is not that other DJ.
Yeah.
The fault is you have not done an adequate job of conveying value to a customer what it is that you do that's worth more.
And,
does that make sense?
Oh, it certainly does. And I think there's a lot of components, as you mentioned earlier, that are involved with that process to get from or to start you on that progression, and we'll dig into those in future shows. I just love that concept though that a person really needs to be working from a full calendar basis before making some of these jumps, and I don't even want to call them jumps. I think they really have to be looked at as incremental steps. Because I think a lot of people have hurt themselves by just getting so overly excited and overly passionate about wanting to make that jump that it really was kind of like jumping off the top rung of a ladder.
what I'm advocating is the way to success is working a full calendar, because when your calendar's not full, you become desperate.
Yep.
Now, desperation can be smelled like blood in the water by sharks. So when you seem desperate, no customer's going to buy your story because you seem desperate. If your calendar's moderately full, you don't have to take a lower priced event. You can hold your line. Part of that comes from having marketing data over your time. For example, you could probably say, oh, June 23rd, historically I get between 6 and 8 inquiries for that third Saturday of June.
Mm-hmm.
I am very confident that I don't have to take the second inquiry that comes in that wants me to perform at half, because I know that there's going to be more coming forward. There's going to be more opportunities coming forward to book that event at a higher rate or at my full rate.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, as DJs look to build a full calendar, that's the place to start. Forget raising your prices or whatever else you've listened to until you have a place where you have a full calendar of people that are not just happy with your service, but they're raving fans. And there's got to be a big difference here. It's not just they got what they expected. You want them to get way more than they expected. As you have a base of, let's say, 40 events, and 35 of them felt they got way more than they paid for, that's great marketing collateral. They're going to be great referrals. As you raise your price, you're going to expand the number of people at a higher price point that are going to be raving fans.
Yes.
But the way we change consumers' minds is by delivery. When more and more people are delivering higher and higher levels of service, and more customers are becoming raving fans of your company will build and grow. You'll either become so in demand that price rising is a natural supply and demand. And so those are the market dynamics that you have to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happens until you get paid.
Yeah, that's
until you make the sale.
That's what we're into business for. I mean, as much as we love the DJ side of it, if you don't get paid, mama's not happy.
Exactly. Jeff Gitomer, one of the greats of sales, says nothing happens until you get paid.
Exactly.
Until you make the sale. And so that's part of the narrative that I guess I want to try to advance with DJs. Forget worrying about the guy that's charging $400 or $200 or $900, and you should be at, 7, 8, 12, 15, 25. Rather, lower your price to where you have a full calendar. Too often you got people that want to blame others for their lack of success. That makes us feel good, but it takes away from us the very power we need to succeed,
yes.
Which is the ownership of the problem, to say, that's my problem. I'm not effectively communicating it. I got to do a better job.
Very well said. And I think that's an important aspect that a lot of people just overlook. They focus on what they love to do, which is what we all like. We'd want to do that. But without being well-rounded or having a plan for dealing with those areas, failures, really, that friend is going to be at your side all the time.
Well, exactly. There's an axiom said, a goal not written is only a wish. And yet how many DJ companies operate without a written business plan?
Yeah.
They have a goal that they'd like to book 40 events at $1,500. And that's a noble goal. And I think most DJs can do it, should do it. It's totally doable. But they don't have the rest of the pieces.
Exactly.
They don't have the roadmap of how I get from where I'm at to where I want to go. And that's why I said on that post, it starts with having a full calendar. A full calendar means you're working, you're networking, and it gets you out of the desperation field.
I think there's a lot of gold here for those of you who had a chance to have heard this. It would probably be something I would go and listen to again, because we've covered a lot of topics, and we're going to break a lot of this information down. And Drax, if you've got some time, I'd like to do a couple more of these over here the next month or so, because I think there's part of it is that you and I have been to a lot of educational content and attend a lot of things, so we have a different view as someone who hasn't. And I think also being over the age of 25 might help a little bit in our perspective on this too, because we're about this much over.
What is? Yeah, we're like this much. Of course, you are very much old compared to me.
Yeah.
You're ancient. And that's one of the challenges is, as the president of the American Disc Jockey Association, our focus is to help DJs build and grow their business. That's why we travel. It's why we speak. It's why we put on conventions, is to give DJs the tools for success. We're sponsoring Midwest DJs Live. We're sponsoring ARM DJs. We'll be at the DJ Expo. We're sponsoring our own conference. All of these things with the express purpose to help DJs to build and grow their business. Because people say, well, what do you think members want? And I say, I think they want more prosperity. I think they want more success.
I would agree.
You know, we could advocate for them till the cows come home, but if in the end of the day it doesn't result in them having more prosperity and more success, their career will be short-lived. Because at some point, we get older, we get over 25, and we need a house and we have a house and a mortgage and wife and children, and these things all cost money.
They do.
And DJing for free on the weekends doesn't really make it.
You know, beer Saturday night doesn't pay the bills Monday morning.
That's really, I guess, where I'm headed with this, is to present with your audience surefire tips that will lead them to success. There won't be any failure along the way that will not be completely self-inflicted. But if they do these things, they will be able to find more success.
And that's really what it's all about. Drex, let's give a couple of websites out. If people want to find out more information, the ADJA, the website is?
ADJA.org.
And the more important one, just because we're all excited about the show coming up in August, what is the URL for that, and what do you got?
The Las Vegas DJ Show.com. And by the way, speaking of sales, since this is kind of a sales topic, we just announced our second day keynote, Danielle Gervais, who has an MBA in sales and marketing, an MBA in business. She is going to light you up with inspiration, but more than just inspiration, she's going to actually give you the pieces and the tools that define how successful sales happen. Every day is going to be jam-packed with exceptional content.
Sounds great, Drax. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a great experience, and once again, we walked around Planet Hollywood, got to check it out a little bit, and I'm just excited for August to get here so we can go and hang out and check it all out and experience another great show.
Thank you, John. It's going to be awesome. We look forward to the Disc Jockey News being there, and just going to be a fabulous show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Once again, Drax, thank you very much for coming in and chatting a little bit about that full calendar theory. I think it's something if DJs kind of take that to heart and put some thoughts into that and that business plan, I think they can really turn around in many ways some of the things in their business that may not have been so successful.
I definitely think they can, and just to be clear, I'm not advocating people going back to the 1980s at all. What I'm really advocating is they take a serious look at their closure rate. If you're not closing at your current price point the way you want, edge your price backward until you're closing and filling your calendar, and then begin to move forward from a position of success.
Yes. Sounds great, Drax. I'm looking forward to that show. Thank you guys for watching tonight. If there's any questions or any comments, please put those in the comments down below. We'd certainly like to get your thoughts, and if you have something that you'd like us to kind of dig into, because we're going to be looking at this over the course of a few different episodes, because this is a pretty big area, and I think a lot of people could really use some guidance in this. And again, Drex and I've got 4 or 5 years of experience in the industry, and if we can help anyone out there with a little bit of our insight, that's what we're here for. So, again, thank you for watching. Comments down below. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV, and Dr. Drax from the ADJA and the Las Vegas DJ Show. Thanks for watching. Good night.